G'day Sports by Fry fans, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sports by Fry YouTube channel. I'm back here today talking a little bit of NBA free agency. There's only a few days left until free agency officially gets underway, and one of the biggest talking points is what the Los Angeles Lakers are going to do. I just hit publish on my article about how the Lakers can build a winner around Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So I'm recording this video talking a little bit about what I think the Lakers should do in free agency. So the first thing I think LA has to do is not get sucked into paying a big max contract. I think it's wiser to go for the deeper roster route this time around for LA rather than trying to find a big three or a super team. They've got Anthony Davis, they've got LeBron. They probably don't need any more star power, let's be honest. They need competent role players who can contribute, help them get through the regular season grind, and then play meaningful minutes in the playoffs. So that rules out them signing someone like Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler as well. Kemba Walker probably won't be wearing Lakers colours after the latest reports he's going to head to Boston. This does change a little bit, I think, if they can get Kawhi. If you get Kawhi, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, probably three of the top 5 players in the league, I think you can figure the rest out after that. But if you're not getting Kawhi, which seems like a long shot at this rate, I think building a deeper roster is the smart route to go down. So if they're not going to get one of those big names, how should the Lakers spend their money? We know now that they're going to have about $32 million in cap space, so they can sign 3 to 4 decent guys. I think where they need to address a lot of their allotted cap space is by helping their backcourt. They don't have any backcourt players at the moment, with Kyle Kuzma the only other rostered Laker, so they could target a ball handler and a playmaker, someone like Patrick Beverley or Ricky Rubio to help run their offense. Personally, I think Beverley is the smarter route to go down, a much better defender, but Ricky Rubio does help run the offense, I guess you could say, a bit better. Not as great a shooter, but neither of them are great offensively. But if you got LeBron and AD, doesn't really matter. You need your point guard to be able to run the offense, get the ball to the right spots, and play solid defense. So I think one of those two dudes makes a bit of sense. In the other starting backcourt slot, we could see them target someone like Danny Green or maybe even a Bojan Bogdanovic player from the Pacers. Had a really good season last year, and those two dudes could help spot up and create driving lanes for LeBron and AD, but also serviceably defend their spot. So how the Lakers target those two starting backcourt positions, I think, will dictate a bit of what they do for the rest of their, how they spend the rest of their cap space. Let's say, for argument's sake, it costs them around $20-25 million to get those two dudes and maybe another third player. I wouldn't mind seeing them, quick tangent, bring back a few guys who they had on the roster last year. Reggie Bullock and KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope could be good gets, and Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee can probably be brought back for the minimum to help provide some grunt in the paint and maybe just roll those two through the center position with Anthony Davis playing forward. But they do need a little bit more depth. So someone that I really like the looks of that I think suits Los Angeles and their current structure would be Terrence Ross. He might be, if they get those two dudes for $20-25 million in maybe Pat Beverley and Danny Green, they might then choose to use the extra $8 million they've got to get Terrence Ross. If not, they could try and use it on a big man, someone like DeMarcus Cousins. That technically is another big name star player, but he hasn't really looked like the star DeMarcus Cousins we all know and love. So I don't know if that's a smart path to go down. I'd probably try and go cheap for a center and look at Nerlens Noel, maybe Rashawn Holmes. Willie Cauley-Stein is a restricted free agent currently, but seems set to be unrestricted. And you could also even look at someone like Dwayne Dedmon, who I think can produce. After they get that core nucleus of maybe 7 to 8 guys, I think that's when the Lakers can afford to go really cheap and try and take a couple of flyers. They can sign up to 6 blokes on a minimum deal, which is worth $1.6 million. So this is where we could see J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, maybe someone like Vince Carter, who's earned plenty of money in his career. He wants to play meaningful minutes for a team, doesn't want to just sit on the bench and point to a clipboard to help some of the youngsters. So we could see VC chase a ring in LA. There are plenty of other options out there. Like I said, some of those big men, maybe even like JaVale McGee, who was on a minimum deal for them last year, could be brought back. So I think it's wise to use that $30-odd million that they've got to get 3 to 4 decent players. Then you've got a nice core of 6 or 7 or 8 really with Kuzma, players that you can rely on, can help you get through the regular season, and then can lead you, hopefully, towards a championship. That's all I got for this video though. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for future videos. I'll be back doing a Fries Fast 5, probably looking at some post free agency stuff next weekend. And of course, I'll be doing the round wrap-up early next week from an AFL fantasy perspective. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, peace.